Yes, it's the most awaited moment. Good morning, everyone, and respected Professor Manu Vora, sir, ladies and gentlemen, professor and teachers, scholars, and all the global participants. Welcome to this auspicious gathering where we embark on a journey of knowledge and enlightenment. As we commence our event, we will begin with the lighting of a lamp, symbolizing the spreading of knowledge and wisdom. This tradition shows how we are bringing light into our minds, asking for blessings on our journey. Following the Saraswati Vantana, a beautiful invocation to the goddess of learning, we will proceed with the introduction of the esteemed Professor Vora. Now I request to light the lamp. Thank you.
गुरुर्मम आरोग्यधनसम्पदः शुभं गुरुर्मम कल्याणम् आरोग्यधनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं गुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं गुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
Thank you so much for this beautiful Saraswati Vanna, and we can start with this beautiful NEP 2020. So now I'm requesting CEO sir, our director sir, welcome to the esteemed guest of CEO sir of the day, Professor Manu Vora. Welcome to the esteemed guest of the day, Professor Manu Vora sir.
Respected Professor Manu Vora, faculty members, industry members, scholars, and you all for participating. Thank you all for participating. It also gives immense pleasure. It also gives immense pleasure for me in thanking Professor Manu for saying his way forward to share his valuable insights and knowledge. I also congratulate Dr. Abhishek and Manmohan for taking this initiative. The theme of our event, effective implementation of NEP is a testimony to our collective effort for a transformative change in the educational landscape. I believe Professor Vara's enlightening session not only shed light on the dynamic facets of NEP, but also paves the way for a deeper understanding of its approach to education. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, CEO sir, for this warm welcome to Professor Manu Vora and all professors, teachers, and scholars across the globe. Now I'm requesting the head of the Department of Communication Design to share a few words on this today on this auspicious day.
Thank you, Manmohan, and thank you, Manu sir, for joining us for this event. As we gather here today, it is crucial to acknowledge the significance of National Education Policy 2020. This policy marks a monumental shift in our approach to education, aiming to transform our system to meet the demand of 21st century. With the emphasis on holistic development, flexibility, and innovation, NEP 2020 opens doors to new opportunities and possibility for both educators and learners alike. Let us embrace this transformative journey with enthusiasm and dedication, and as we strive to create a brighter future for our generation to come. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Saurabh sir. Now I'm requesting and inviting Dr. Abhishek sir to shed the light on this illustrious journey of Professor Vora sir, and who had dedicated several decades to academia and industry, leaving his impact throughout his remarkable contribution across the globe. Dr. Abhishek, we are eagerly waiting to get here for the insights into Professor Vora in a valuable contribution and the profound impact he has made on the academy landscape over the years.
To say hearty welcome to Professor Manu Vora sir. from Chicago, USA. Like all we know right now, the temperature of Chicago is also close to zero and minus temperature only. And even right now, it's too late. So, first of all, apologize to disturbing you at a light time. But we are really very happy to hear you in more than 80 years of age, and still you are a young and vibrant and actively sharing your knowledge, imparting the globe and all of us. And I'm feeling really very privileged to work under the guidance of Professor Manu Vora sir. So I would go ahead with a small brief about the sir, because if I will go with a full brief, it will take 1 hour of time, and still that would be not going to be covered. So first of all, again, I will warm welcome to Professor Vora sir. So good morning, esteemed guest speaker, respected faculty members, and my dear students. It's a great honor and distinct pleasure to welcome you all to day of a special webinar on the effective implementation of the NEP National Education Policy 2020. As we navigate through the seeds of the transformative policy, we are privileged to have with a luminary in the field of education as well as the leadership, Professor Manu Vora sir, with us today. Professor Manu Vora sir joined us from the way from Chicago, USA in an online mode, representing the boundless nature of knowledge and the power of digital connectivity to bring us together across continent. And I warm welcome all the participants from India, nearby countries, and across the country participant members. With an eminent career of spans several decades, Professor Manu Vora sir has been forefront and educational innovation, imparting wisdom and imparting a change across the globe. As an acclaimed educator, a visionary leader, and passionate advocate of excellence in education, Professor Vora has dedicated his life enriching the quality of education and leadership through his teaching, writing, and consultative projects. His work has not only shaped in mind but also contributed to shaping the policies and practices that govern educational institutes worldwide. He earned his BTech honors in chemical engineering from IIT BHU in 1968. Definitely at that time, I born in 1988, so 20 years graduated from IIT BHU. And later on, he left the India, and he done his MS and PhD in a chemical engineering from the Illinois Institute of Technology, Chicago in 1970, followed by 1975. He also hold an MBA in marketing management from the Keller, Chicago in 1985. And later on, he has appointment as a Fulbright specialist, as one of the prestigious Fulbright fellowship, especially in India. We having a dream to get the Fulbright fellowship, and sir is appointed as a Fulbright specialist by the U.S. Department of State for 2016 to 2023. He has also contributed as a core member of India NEP 2020 Implementation Plan Committee and facilitated improved teaching and learning process through innovative pedagogy and continuous assessment at Atal Academy also, Government of India. His NEP 2020 guidance impact in higher education institutions, HEIs, in 7 states, 2 United Territory, and SSP projects benefited HEIs by imparting job readiness as well as the impact of the people over the 1.2 million across the globe. He has also made a significant contribution as in renowned Indian institutions like IIM, IITs, as well as Triple IT and NIT. Sir has delivered the two TEDx talk in 2013 in IIT BHU, followed by IIT Chicago in USA. Between 2000 to 2015, he was honored with a sixth medal for quality and four medal for the philanthropy. He has also recognized more than 60 awards and outstanding professionals contribution across the globe itself over there. Also, Sir has got acknowledgement, and he honored as an Jewels of India alongside 75 other Indo-American personality, especially while we're talking about educator, while we're talking about the industry expert. Also, as an, a social contribution, Sir has founded the Foundations of India in 1989, where he helped more than 2 million blind adults and children in India. Also, he donated 49 crore plus for prevention, cure, and education of blind people. Also, Sir has given the noteworthy contribution during the time of the assisted Bangladeshi refugee in India post India Pakistan war in 1971. Also, sir has raised over 100 crores for charitable causes. He also guided Fortune 500 plus companies with US Excellent Framework, and also he was a chief judge for the Illinois Team of Excellence Award program. Today, Professor Vora will share the insight of his career and expertise itself over there on the National Education Policy 2022, a policy that marks a significant milestone in the Indian education system. The 2022 NEP aims to the renovation, the current educational framework, marking it more holistic, flexible, multidisciplinary, and aligned to the need of 21st century, and aim to bringing out the unique capability of each. Now, I will humble requesting Manu Vora sir for sharing his expertise and knowledge with us. Once again, thank you on behalf of Indian community and National Institute of Design Andhra Pradesh for your valuable time to sharing with us, sir. Now handing over mic to Professor Manu Vora, sir. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Abhishek Kumar, for very kind introduction. Greetings to Head of Department, Shaurav Sharma co-convener Manmohan Vashish all the other coordinators, the esteemed faculty and friends who have joined from around India, and I believe there was one registration from Pakistan as well. So today's topic is very interesting and very useful for us to focus upon and see what actions we need to take in order to make it effectively implemented throughout India. So in the interest of time, let me share the presentation. And I hope it's getting recorded.
Yes, sir. We had started recording.
Okay. Very good. So the roadmap for this morning's presentation is we'll begin with some of the higher education challenges we are facing in India, and then dive into the National Education Policy 2020. And I'll describe briefly the work done at AICTE for the Implementation Plan Strategy Committee, followed by very important item, what are some challenges we are facing to systematically implement NEP 2020, and suggest a structure which will allow us to do it more systematically throughout India. And I'm going to focus on one of the key issue, how do we create motivated, energized, and capable faculty by drawing upon Atal Academy FDPs and Indo-Universal Collaboration for Engineering Education FDPs we have conducted to train leaders across various institutes. Very important item, what are some challenges we are facing to systematically implement NEP 2020, and suggest a structure which will allow us to do it more systematically throughout India. And I'm going to focus on one of the key issue, how do we create motivated, energized, and capable faculty by drawing upon Atal Academy FDPs and Indo-Universal Collaboration for Engineering Education FDPs we have conducted to train leaders across various institutes, and some recommendations how to take it forward. And please remember at the end of the session, you need to write down 2 key takeaways you are taking back with you, and through the chat box, we'll definitely have you at least put in 1 key takeaway from the session so others can benefit from it as well. Now, the way the presentation is structured, I'll be breaking at several points throughout the presentation to have the dialogue and interaction. And we'll take your comments through the chat box or the question, and we'll keep clearing the deck as we go forward. So let's begin with the current situation in India versus the desired state. Unfortunately, with the old British system, our paradigm shift needs to be made. Current paradigm is students memorize the facts and vomit it in the exam. It needs to change to understanding of the concepts and the foundation, with the goal to apply those concepts to solve real world problems. Let's begin on the left side. Our learning methods are basically rote learning, and it's all dry theories. Academic curricula are outdated and they are not connected with the industry. Thing I've been noticing for the last 13 plus years, lack of soft skills in curricula, quality of the education that the biggest both system and curriculum level is missing. Very minimal, and alumni engagement is not to be found. As opposed to that, we need to move to the desired state where learning should be based on inquiry, and we need to focus upon learning from the best in class practices. The curricula needs to align with the industry needs, and the curriculum should definitely have soft skill as a part of the requirement, not just focus on hard or technical skills, but focus on soft skills as well. They're equally important, and we'll talk about it a little later. Need to instill quality both at the system level and in the curriculum. Faculty must acquire some industry experience. Either they have worked in the industry or they do projects working with the industry to solve the real problem with the help of students. And they need to continue to renew and upgrade their knowledge. Must invite the industry experts to join the boards at the department and the institute level and put your alumni on the pedestal. They will bring tremendous resources, both financial as well as they can bring several projects from their companies, as well as they can bring the state of the art information of what's happening in the industry and enrich the alma mater. So, as we all know, July 29, 2020 is the center approved at the central government national education policy put together by the team headed by Dr. Kasturi Rangan. It's a highly aspirational education policy. Now the question is, what are we doing with the implementation? So one of the key things we need to remember that the purpose of the education is not to memorize the facts, but we as a faculty, those who are the faculty, we need to inculcate the character building values in our students and make them responsible citizens of India. So the key values to impart are ethics, honesty, and integrity at the core, followed by compassion for others, practice of non-violence, practice of truth, respect for elderly, respect for the environment, and reverence for teachers or the gurus. And we must develop the spirit of collaboration and cooperation rather than competition and tearing people down in the classroom. If we are successful imparting these values, then I think the role of the faculty is fulfilled and make very responsible citizens of India and citizens of the world. Now let's take a very quick review of where we stand in India with respect to ethics. So if you look at the World Corruption Index, the last publication 2022 list out of 180 countries, India ranks number 87 with a raw score of 40 out of 100. So we have a long way to go. We are in the middle of the pack. Next, world's most ethical companies 2023 list out of 135 global companies. Only one made the cut from India, Infosys, and most of the companies are on the list from the United States. And the World Human Development Index 2021, published in 2022, out of 191 country rankings, India is at number 132 with the index of 0.633. So, as we know, ethics must play a big role in the life of our students, the faculty, and all the professionals. And ethics begins at home. The way our parents interact with each other and interact with the family members and instill the ethics that journey needs to continue in the schools, primary, secondary, high school, then in the colleges, in the university, rather than taking a shortcut of not doing the work and then doing the copies from somebody else is not going to serve India well. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing and see if there are any quick comments we can pick up from the chat box.
So,
So if you have any comments or a question, kindly type it in the chat and we'll pause for a few minutes to have a dialogue and interaction because that's the best way to digest it in chunk and then reflect upon it as we go forward. So, any questions, comments from your experience, if you are doing something very specific at your institute, feel free to share it so others can learn from it as well.
so I will request the participant, if anyone having any query or confusion, kindly put into the chat box. Good morning, Udalok Chakravarti sir from UID Gujarat, if I'm not wrong, UPL Gujarat. So, any query, Udalok sir, you can type into the chat box. Good morning, Neha ma'am.
And let's make best use of the time of typing things. Yeah, here we go. What is the basic thing of NEP to implement in our system? Good question. Hold it for a few more minutes. I'll coming to that. There are many things needs to be done until 2035, and 4 years have already gone, and we'll talk about it. Where are we? Okay, looks like it's a little bit slow and warming up. So I'll continue with the presentation, and as we go forward, we'll take more questions. Otherwise, we'll run out of time. Allow me to continue to share, and we'll pick up the questions from the chat box. So the question was raised, what do we need to do to implement NEP 2020? So let's talk a little bit about implementation. So I just wanted to share with you the last committee chartered at AICTE, where it was a honor to be part of the committee, working with 9 other distinguished educationists from throughout India. And it was coordinated by Colonel Venkat, who has moved on from AICTE. The committee worked on 9 major areas shown here: multidisciplinary and holistic education, that was the first item; equity and inclusion in higher education, make it open to everyone; research, innovation, and rankings. Next, global outreach of higher education, followed by the item I'm going to highlight with some examples on motivated, energized, and capable faculty, integration of higher education system, governance and regulation, promotion of Indian languages, arts and culture, and technology use and integration. The work of the committee was completely covered in a 2-page op-ed by Skill Outlook on 29 January 2021. The link is provided. And this presentation is with Dr. Abhishek Kumar. He will share it with all the attendees and also put it up on the website so others can benefit. And in the USA, we had several publication which carried the work of the ICT NEP 2020 Strategic Planning Committee. So now comes the crux of the matter. So what is NEP 2020 journey? It's a metaphor is like going to Mount Everest, which is very transformative journey we need to take between now and 2035. It's a 15-year journey. 4 years have passed, and we are going to talk about what has happened on the ground, and the picture is not very good. So, in order to reach to the peak of the Mount Everest, we need to have proper planning, preparation, and training. And exactly the same thing is required for implementing the transformative journey for NEP 2020: preparation, planning, and training. And a lot of these components are not to be seen on the ground level in a systematic journey. There are three pillars of it. One is the leadership, which provides the direction, and they create and lead the change. So, leadership is essential and paramount foundation. Second pillar is the employees to implement the change. And third one is the use of project management discipline to facilitate the change. So, change or a transformation journey can only succeed when there is a capable leadership leading the charge, engaging all the people, and in this particular case for NEP 2020, all the employees, that is the faculty, the people who are at the institute, the staff, the students, all stakeholders, administration must be engaged fully, and they all need to be working using the project management discipline, and I'll expand on it very shortly. Now, experience managing and leading several change management journeys in various domains. This journey is successful when three C's are in coordination and in collaboration. So one C is the CEO, which is the vice chancellor or the director at the institute. Second is CFO, which manages the finance, which is the registrar's role. But the third one is missing in action at a lot of places: chief public officer, chief people officer. This is the HR function, and in industry, HR function plays a very critical role of bringing the right talent on the table, and they all need to be working in collaboration, all three C's: the chancellor, the vice chancellor, the director, registrar, and chief people officer, the HR vice president level, should bring in the right talent to carry out the transformation and the change as required. Just a brief 15 change management journeys have been covered, either leading it or coaching the leaders, one in education sector, two in government, Egypt and Turkey, eight in corporate sector in US, two in the professional arena, and two non-profit. There's an excellent Baldrige Performance Excellence Framework since 1989 here in the US, covering corporate, education, healthcare, and non-profit entities as well. And it's a pleasure to deliver project management and risk management courses globally over since the last 2000, starting with 2008 onwards in academic and professional settings. So let's take a look at the planning importance and focus on the cycle given by Dr. Deming, who is one of the quality guru and stalwart, who essentially taught Japanese how to do quality improvement, process improvement, and quality management. And because of that, Japan after World War II got backup in the industrial economy, and they produce the finest electronics and automobiles in the world. So the cycle talks about planning for anything and everything we do. Now, fortunately, the plan is already done
क्या
with
आप कुछ
the
ब्रेकफास्ट है
NEP
तो ले सकते हैं,
2020
साइड में खा लेंगे.
policy in place. All we need to focus
ठीक है, डन,
upon
थैंक
the
यू.
take the component of the plan and do, that is the execute the plan systematically, study the results, and if the results are not up to the level of expectation, then in the X cycle makes changes and continue on the cycle to keep implementing the beautiful plan, the beautiful policy which we already have. Policy is great, it's in on paper, but unless we implement it thoroughly with the dedication and determination to make it completely executable, we will not see the full benefit. Now, interesting to remember that the 10% excellent plan and 90% flawless execution will lead to success. So the plan is 10%, but the rest of the components, do, study, and act, will require to roll up the sleeves and do flawless 90% execution. And remember, planning without execution is futile, but execution without planning could be fatal. And a brief comment: in India, we do not focus much on planning. We are all eager to shoot, so we take action without doing proper planning. A lot of time things work out by fluke, but don't count on it. Unless you do a good and thorough plan, execution will not be very successful. So let's stop sharing at this point and see, are there any quick comments from the previous conversation as well as any other question. So I'm going back here. Basic thing, we are going to cover it very shortly. Dr. Chakrabarti. Neha Shukla, what can we do for vocational courses? So NEP 2020 has a big focus on vocational education, and it has been neglected in the prior time, but almost up to 30 to 40% focus on vocational courses is given in the new policy. Are there any guidelines in NEP to develop soft skills in students? Good point, Dr. Nair. We'll cover that towards the end of the presentation. And I had a pleasure to provide the input about the soft skills which are lacking in India. So I'll have a quick deliberation on that. Any additional comments or question at this time, please go ahead and use the chat box.
So, any query from the participant and respected professor across the globe, kindly put your query into the chat box. Sir will parallelly go through the same. Thank you.
And any questions from the organizing team?
Yes, sir. So from my side, one question I have just now came in my mind, and what sort of a framework we can aim, sir, to transform our education sector, and we can basically um to shaping the future of our educational landscape.
Yeah. So the guidance given was 15 years window from 2020 to 2035. And I'm going to share the specific guidance given by AICTE committee for short term, which was for the first year, 2021, where focus was developing the curriculum and put together the assessments properly, allow the academic bank of credit so that students can transfer from one institute to the other for flexibility, have a different mix of delivery, whether it's online, blended, or off-site, on-site, all the combination. There was a big focus on electives, 20% core electives and 20% additional electives. So up to 40% more electives can be offered. through the national education policy. And of course, there was a big focus on mother tongue use. So, delivery in mother tongue, multidisciplinary education, so across different department, do the collaboration. And then in the longer term, for each district, there should be a multidisciplinary research university, Sanskrit to be included in the program and create a Sanskrit universities and recognize the full vision of NEP 2020 by 2035. And the next two slides will give us a foundation of where we are and where we need to go. So please bear with us. Thank you, Mr. Vashish, for your question.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Not seeing any further question, let me continue to go with the presentation. And we will have plenty of time to take the questions as we go. So let's do a reality check. As I mentioned, this end of April, we will be completing 4 years. Question to me for all of you at the various institute you come from. How many of you have seen, and maybe I should stop sharing and have a dialogue in a sense. How many of you have seen a committee chartered at your institute to do the NEP 2020? If you have, raise your hand. Secondly, if the committee was chartered, did they have the right people on it? Or was it given to one or two people and they go on the side and do what they wanted to do and report higher up? Was that strategic plan put together for NEP 2020 and communicated with everyone internally and externally? And was there a systematic progress report made on a quarterly basis to share with everyone what has been accomplished, what are the results, what are the successes, what are the failures? I doubt that many of the institutes, there is no clue what's happening for NEP 2020. One thing I've been noticing somewhere around August timeframe or September timeframe, there's a conclave held where all the vice chancellor come in and make a presentation for a few minutes, more like a show and tell. We have done this and we have done that. But people on the ground at the institute level have no clue what's happening. And none of those meetings or the conclaves had any published meeting notes. So nobody knows what's happening. So everything is up in the air in the cloud. So we love the cloud, right? So that's where it is. So sorry for being harsh. Progress can never be made if we just keep talking. And we are good at talking in India. Unfortunately, we need to shift the gear, change the paradigm, talking to action. Unless we do that, year 2034 will arrive and we'll ask the question, where is NEP 2020? Let's start again. That has happened in the past and will be in the same space again. So this is the issue, and I lay this issue at the feet of the top leadership of the institute. And unless they take the lead and take the people with them, things are not going to change. And this is where the issue is to be taken forward. So let me focus on the two very important slides. So we'll be spending a little bit extra time on this. What are some of the challenges we are seeing for implementing NEP 2020? So first, if we have a sound structure or a system in place, implementation can be on a smooth track. Are we engaging the alumni and industry experts in rolling out NEP 2020? We need to seriously ponder upon these items. Have we communicated the strategic plan with all the stakeholders, both internally as well as externally? One big gap I see is there's no seamless transition from K through 12 school systems to higher education institutes. CSB, they do their own, AICT and UGC do their own. There's no seamless transition at the juncture where the school system ends and HEI starts. We do not have a uniform implementation approach across the HEIs. Unfortunately, in India, we do not have a culture of sharing. Otherwise, we can learn from the successes as well as failures from the people who have come out of the gate a little bit early and doing something. Need some change agents who can bring the outside perspectives and need to be doing some pilots to understand the landscape, what works, what does not work. 9 and 10, this is where the responsibility lies with the top leadership and the administration, the vice chancellor, the director, the registrar, etc., to understand their role in leading for sustainability and nurturing the transformation journey. Are they committed, involved, and supportive? And are the people who are doing the implementation, do they know about project management and risk management? And are faculty and students completely trained and proficient in soft skills? So these are the challenges we are facing. Unless we address these challenges on a regular basis, we are not going to have the full benefit of NEP 2020. So to take care of those challenges, I'm suggesting a project structure. And as I mentioned, transformation journey is nothing but a project to be run on a 15-year window. So project management is the backbone and the foundation. First, we need to create a NEP 2020 council with the top leader in charge, generally the vice chancellor or the director at the highest level. Appoint a champion for NEP 2020, a faculty with a lot of experience and ability to deliver results. Create 3 major clusters using the guidance from AICT for short term, medium term, and long term, we discussed a little bit earlier, and additional subclusters as needed. On each of the cluster, need a trio, the Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, the faculty, alum, and the industry expert. So faculty is like Brahma creating the new knowledge. Alum is the Vishnu, and industry experts are the disruptors like Mahesh or Shivji. And they need to have good experience and expertise. They should be chosen based on positive attitude and can do attitude, and they should be willing to volunteer. And then journey is very simple. They create vision, mission, and value, a strategic plan, communicate that mission critical strategic plan to all stakeholders, provide relevant training to stakeholders, and I'll talk about it very shortly. Use project management discipline to manage the progress for the NEP rollout, quarterly review, share the successes with the newsletter and internet, hold people accountable for the project results, and celebrate the success with all stakeholders. So if these 2 slides, if we take it seriously, which is not a rocket science, we can put a foundation in place which will allow us to systematically take the NEP 2020 forward. I know top leadership changes happen between 3 to 5 years window in most of the institute. And when the leaders change, things fall apart, which should not be the case. If the foundation is there, if the systems are in place, things can go on and new people can carry forward the monumental journey we all have to travel together. Now, I'm going to continue this in the interest of time, and I'm watching my time as well here. I'm going to talk a little bit about one specific area: motivated, energized, and capable faculty. Big focus on effective teaching learning by using innovative pedagogy and continuous comprehensive assessments. And I'll draw upon a lot of experience from the ICT, Atal Academy, FDP's work, which they have done on a remarkable basis since the last 5 years. So faculty needs to be learning in a collaborative fashion. So when I was attending and observing the FDPs by the AICT Atal Academy during the pandemic, people used to join in online. They log in to show their presence, and then they are on a mute doing something else. Towards the end, they look up the slides, read up from the Google, and answer the questions. And if they are successful, they get the certificate. That's not the way to learn, because retention was very low and very poor. Even the attendance was very low. 15 to 20% of the people who register show up, and that is not a good use of the resources. So faculty needs to learn in a collaborative fashion and under the scientific guidance of the expert resource faculty by doing lots of introspection and reflection. And what we need to do more in India is leverage the peer learning and focus on class interactions. There is a tremendous wealth of knowledge sitting there among the attendees, and that knowledge needs to be shared and people need to take benefit of. Now, I've been teaching after 18 years of industry experience. When I started teaching in 93, my goal was that the success from industry point of view was the teamwork was the basis for success in industry. I wanted to simulate that environment in the academic setting. So started working on collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based teaching in all my MBA classes, quality management, supply chain management, project management, etc. So during my classes, I have teams, and we have here smaller classes, about 10 to 17 students enrolled for a graduate level program. Form the teams, and they are required to be cooperating internally within the team and across the team. Experiential in my classes between 10 to 16-week course, whether it's a short 10-week semester or a 16-week. They study somewhere between 8 to 10 state-of-the-art articles or cases from top journals. And generally, I'm on the business side, so Harvard Business Review, MIT Sloan Management Review, McKinsey Quarterly, Forbes, Inc., etc. And there is a special way they read the article and do the discussion in the class, and they continue to work on their project
Yeah,
in
actually.
a team
Good morning,
setting
Randy.
and share
Sir,
their
right
progress
now in
throughout the
class,
semester.
so after
And
one
it's
hour, I think
outcome
about.
based, which is reflection of what they have learned in the class with the focus on implementation. And I'll share a few templates with you very quickly. And interestingly, this philosophy of collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based learning was adopted at AICT Atal Academy for 22-23 cycle, where 200 FDPs were supported with 1 crore rupees each. And each FDP, there were 50 faculty to attend from all over India, those who were selected to attend. And so 10,000 faculties have been learning in a new way rather than come and join online only. It was a combination on site, off site, and they needed to do systematic learning by working in the teams and studying the articles, doing some site visits of the research labs of the industry, and writing up reports and things like that. So we read a lot of things, but the retention at the end of the day is very poor. So to address that issue, students in my classes read the article in the individually and then in the group, and I pair them up in 2 or 3 groups, and they focus upon 3 things: key principles and practices from the article by the within 3 to 4 bullets for the entire group. Middle part is more important: application of principles to practices, bridging the gap between theory with the practice. Each and every individual member of the group will write down their bridging the theory with the practice. And the last one, key takeaways, 3 to 4 bullets per group. By doing this and writing it in a 2 page short summary, what they are doing is reflective learning, lot of discussion internally, and then sharing across groups in the class setting, whether it's on site or online. They can get a lot of insights on what each of the groups are thinking and what they have written up. And this is how you get the nectar out of the article, and the retention is tremendous at the end of the day. I mentioned about the reflection journal. At the end of the program, on the last day, they fill out on a 1 page in the bullet form 3 key learnings from the program, 3 key lessons or the concepts they will implement going forward, an implementation plan for their 3 key lessons, the concepts. And this is extremely useful to focus their attention on the what they have captured or learned from the program, and what are they going to implement once they are out from the program and back in the work settings. I'm going to talk a little bit about creating excellence in the faculty. They say the average teacher will explain complexity, but the gifted teacher reveals the simplicity. We need to focus upon many forms of teachers. This comes from Sanskrit, where there are 6 different forms of teacher. So when we start out our journey as a faculty, we are adhyapak, sharing just the information. When we add knowledge to the information, you get the title of Upadhyay. When you start sharing some specific skills, you become Acharya. When you share your insight, you become Pandit. When you provide visionary thinking, you are Drishta. But ultimately in life, when you reach that station and start sharing your wisdom, you get the title of Guru. And we all should aspire to move from Adhyapak to the Guru throughout the academic journey. The faculty should educate students by engaging, energizing, entertaining, and empowering them. So use each and every lever at your disposal to engage students first and give them motivation to get energized, provide entertainment to get them hooked, and empower them with resources. Now, as a faculty, we are like a transmitter, but the learners or the students are the receivers. So unless the receivers are tuned, whatever information you are transmitting has no value, and it will not be effective. So you need to have your students and learners fully engaged in that learning. So right from the beginning, when I started teaching in 1993, my role was in the classes, my students should be involved in their own learning, and make sure whatever they have learned they apply on a project in a team setting, and open to share it within the team and across the team. So simple learners engagement model: involve, learn, apply, and share makes it on, and it becomes the obligation of the students to be fully engaged and completely involved in their own learning. And they learn a lot from peers, and there's a tremendous learning going on through class interactions. want to share with you the 12 keys to the kingdom for learners' engagement. So, and I've practiced all these 12 items, so let me go through each one of them very quickly. So, when I'm teaching a new topic, assign it to a student and keep rotating them to do little research and share it that finding in the classroom. I role of me as a faculty to share the importance and the real world application of the topic to excite them. And there are some icebreaker or topical questions at the beginning of the session. And without fail, at the end of each module, key takeaways at the end of the session for common understanding from all students. So this is a simple way of getting the engagement going. Then I picked up some items from Harvard Business Publishing. They are suggesting you can do short polls or voting and arrange the role plays, form small groups to discuss the topic and report back to the full class, make the teams to work on a projects throughout the semester, 10 weeks, 16 weeks, whatever window you have, and they should share their project results within the class setting. And you can invite guest speakers to broader for the additional perspectives. And role of the faculty is to deliver the basic concepts and principles, so there's no need for memorization. So no memorization, vomiting is the concepts and application. That's our obligation as a faculty. And definitely allow curiosity and innovativeness to flourish in the classroom. So if we as a faculty are at the cutting edge by replenishing our knowledge, we can give the cutting edge information to our students. And if we follow these 12 keys, we all get the gold star. And this is not very difficult. You can start implementing these keys to the kingdom for learners' engagement. And believe me, when your students and learners are fully engaged, the transmission of your knowledge will be smooth, there'll be better retention, and you can gauge it with the continuous assessment of how well they are taking the new knowledge and applying it on a project setting. So we'll talk about that shortly. Now, in my mind, the ideal role of faculty is their role is to engage, excite, empower, and challenge the students. You can engage them by forming small groups, excite them by showing real world applications, can empower them by sharing relevant resources, and challenge them. Don't give out solution. We don't do any favor to them. Challenge them to solve the real life problems. So if they are fully engaged, excited, and if they have the right resources and they learn how to do problem solving, they can solve the real life problems. And a big focus at AICT Atal Academy was continuous comprehensive assessment. And this is my 31 years of effort here in the US and different parts of the world. And fortunately, in the US, as a senior faculty, I have a option not to give any exams. So in my classes, there is no midterm or end term exam. Instead, I use this 5 assessment throughout the semester. I have a discussion board individually 25%. Article case reading we discuss with the template. Team focus with the individual component in the middle 30%. Then they do team project, writing up a report, and it's a team grade 20%, team project presentations 20%, and the reflection journal 5%. By doing this continuous comprehensive assessment, my objective is are the students learning new things in the class? Are they able to apply it on the real life project and show to me that they have comprehended and they have mastered the concepts and they are able to apply it right away on the project through the report, through the presentation, through the discussion board, and integrating their ideas and work they are doing at workplaces in the articles and case summaries, etc. So this is the one thought I have. India, we are wedded to the exams and more exams. It doesn't do any good. First 22 years when I was in India up to the BTech level, I have been through many exams. None of those things I remember, none of those things were useful at all. After the exams are over, that is done, you close the chapter and move on. Why waste time and energy on futile things where we spend tremendous amount of time, create stress for the students on mugging up and vomiting in the class? Why not focus on comprehensive continuous assessment to really empower them to have some real basic understanding, the concepts, the foundations, so they can really do a tremendous job of applying those concepts to solve the real world problem. So that's the challenge we are all facing, and we need to do more of it. Get away from the exam components, try to reduce the focus on the exams, but do additional continuous comprehensive assessment, increase those components. I'll quickly share a few items about what AICT Atal Academy has done. It's a tremendous effort, 2019 to 2020, 190 FDPs offline, 10,000 certificates were issued. 2021, 948 FDPs online, 115,000 certificates, 165,000 faculty signed up. 21-22, 1,500 FDPs, 242,000 plus people, 165 certificates. 22-23, as I mentioned, 200 FDPs online plus offline, 10,000 faculties benefited, with a focus on quality over quantity by improving teaching learning process. They adopted the collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based model I shared with you. And there was a big focus on learners' engagement, coordinators and attendees' eligibility was upgraded. Eminent resource people were invited to deliver their expertise in these FDPs from academic, industry, and alumni side. Coordinators checklist. It was a nice table created for them to make it easy for coordinators to conduct the FDP, research journal articles, variety of them, and collaborative learning in teams, articles, widgets, and doing the project and the reflection journal. And there was orientation session held in July 2022 before rolling out the new FDPs. So there was big focus on learning, innovative pedagogy, and assessments. Just wanted to share with you at a very high level my involvement in India for education contribution. NEP Implementation Committee, 48 sessions at AICT Atal FDPs, expert peer reviewed 68 Atal FDPs, member AICT Atal FDPs redesign committee, resource person for soft skill, which I'm going to expand upon very soon, IIT BHU example, and a resource person throughout India. 1.2 million students, faculty, and professionals have benefited since 2013. A few more slides and I'll stop and we'll have some interaction going. As a part of the NEP 2020 implementation, a suggestion was made that we need to provide specific training to administration and leadership at the highest level, the vice chancellor, director, registrar, etc., in the area of sustainable change management, share with them US Baldrige framework for education, and big focus on community service. The people who are going to be implementing it at the director, at the department head and dean level, they need to be trained in project management and risk management. And all the faculty should be trained in soft skills. And here focus was on leadership, decision making, time management, teamwork, and project management. And very happy to share that all these things have been delivered under the umbrella of IUCE, Indo-Universal Collaboration for Engineering Education, the Leadership FDP, Project Management, Soft Skills for Faculty and Students, where variety of different institutes with various levels of the faculty attended the programs, and they benefited immensely from collaborative, experiential, and outcome based. Like in the leadership FDP, VCs, directors, principals, they had to roll up the sleeve, attend the sessions over the weekend, read the articles, do the projects in the team setting, and report back to the entire FDP group. And it was a tremendous learning and exchange and a lot of interactions among the attendees. Now I'm going to stop sharing at this point before we dive into community service. Are there any additional comments and thoughts? Okay, soft skill thing we are going to talk very soon. My friend Professor Samir Srivastava from IIM Lucknow explained bracket in research articles. Yeah, so as I mentioned, that in order for students to learn in an experiential way, they were assigned articles to read, and these articles came from the state of the art research journal for a given FDP, depending on the field they were working on. So, if the FDP was about project management, there'll be state of the art article from Harvard Business Review or MIT Sloan Management Review on project management. If it is on AI, then there should be state of the art article from the technical journals on AI aspect. And that's how those articles were assigned for the people who were attending the FDPs, and then they were required to discuss by reading it individually, then within the group, and then write a short summary in 2 pages, the template I had shared earlier. Okay, thank you, Dr. Professor Srivastava. Okay, any additional questions, comments, please? We are working on soft skill issue right away. Okay, I don't see any further comment or question, so let me continue.
I have
Yeah,
a question. As we are talking about the soft skills and all, and NEP is all about the equality, right, to get the proper education in all the areas, rural areas as well. Then how we
yeah,
can tackle that part in that areas?
yeah. See, rural area, what it was mentioned that they need to be coming to a center close to where they are at and offer the FDP in their areas. So urban area, there is no issue, right? Because people can travel short distances for a 1 week on site, 1 week offline.
And followed by that's like how rather just to enhance the cognitive skills,
Mm,
right, how we can to especially ensure like they are just not, as you are saying, like just not mugging up and vomiting on the next day on the in the classroom, right? So how we can tackle in that part, not just to enhance their cognitive skills, but not as well as the same time the value and the ethics what we have learned from our life as well, which can implement it in their, and when they grow up and then implement in their real life, and they
yeah,
can enhance their um, the image and the growth, everything what they can help him to grow in their career as well.
yeah. So this is where the role of the faculty comes in. So faculty, when they are designing the curricula and delivering it to students, they need to instill in them, inculcate the ethics and the values by giving specific examples of what they have done in their own life, and people learn from each other, and they can see if you are a leader and if you are good at certain things, the way you interact with people, the way you encourage others to do better, those specific things help to set the examples and share the example with your students. So I think it's a collaborative effort. First, You design student-centric curricula, not the teacher-centric. Right now, most of us are teaching centers, so we are focused more about us as a faculty, not about students. So that's the first step. Second one, use this innovative pedagogy and continuous assessment process to encourage basic learning, concepts, foundation, principles, not just giving the facts and then feeling good about it and do nothing after that. And believe me, doing this collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based work is tremendous amount of effort on the part of the faculty. So when I teach my 10-week classes, which will start this year, generally I teach in April through June. This time is June through August in summer. I work more than my students. So I'm fully engaged, active, coaching, guiding, giving them feedback, because that's how they learn. Based on what they are submitting, they get the feedback quickly on the project, on the articles, on the discussion board, everywhere I'm fully engaged and I'm spending more time than my students in delivering the good lectures, and a lot of it is online anyway, but I'm constantly helping my students to learn more than what they are having or what they have learned so far in the life. So answer to your question is the role of the faculty. We can shape everything and it's up to us to put effort and make it happen for our students. Okay, Shaurabji, your questions, go ahead.
Yes, extended to that only. I just have two questions, very small question. Firstly, there might be many faculties, even in the school or rural areas, they are coming with their set of understanding of education, the baggage they are, how they have been taught. And suddenly this paradigm shift would not be easy for them. So how to make that transition very smooth? And
Yeah.
secondly, how to retain our faculties also within India to good faculties perhaps, or because they are really, they are often migrated to other spaces outside India, and we need right now such kind of talent within India. How to retain those faculties and make our education system more robust?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think train the trainer approach is needed in the first question you have. We need to have expert delivering and teaching several levels up first
जी
in
सर, गुड
terms
मॉर्निंग
of
सर.
collaborative, experiential, and
हेलो.
outcome based learning. So once they've
हेलो.
experienced that, what
हेलो
they
सर,
will
गुड
do
मॉर्निंग
is
सर.
understand the importance of those
जी
items.
सर.
And once they're bought into it,
ओके ओके.
they can continue to teach others. So train the trainer approach can take care
ठीक
of
है सर,
it
मैं
at the
सर एक बार
institute
कोशिश.
level. And there are
जी.
resources available and we can talk
ठीक
offline.
है
I'll
सर,
be
और
very
मैं एक
happy
बार
to
कोशिश
provide
करता
any
हूँ सर कि अगर
guidance or
डिप्टी सर
any
अगर
help
फ्री होंगे
needed.
तो एज एन डिप्टी सर
Secondly, in
सर एज
order
एन.
to retain the good faculty, we need
अच्छा.
to use variety of
ठीक है, मैं फिर कर लेता
levers.
हूँ.
So one of them, which is very rarely used, is the encouragement and
नहीं ठीक है सर,
recognition.
फिर मैं फॉलो अप कर लेता हूँ सर. हाँ.
We get to hear from the higher ups when
जी सर,
something goes
ओके.
wrong,
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सर.
but when something goes right, it's taken for granted. So there should be a specific recognition for publication, the papers, presentations you are making in the international or national conferences. So there should be accolades and kudos for those. You can use your newsletter, internet, put it up and praise people for doing their effort above and beyond. And what that does is it motivates others to see how they could be the next to be recognized. And a lot of this recognition is non-monetary. You don't have to worry about the money. It's the certificate you give, the accolades you provide to them in the public that makes them more motivated to do better things for the institute, for themselves, and they continue to move on their journey. And it motivates others through the peer pressure as well. So there are variety of things people do in the industry, and we need to learn from it. And this can come when you engage industry at your department level, at the institute level to sit on the advisory board, they can bring some guidance, and that can definitely open up new avenues for people to benefit at the academic institutes. And once they are seeing that people agree that they are getting recognized, non-monetary is more important than monetary because you don't have a lot of money to give out. But non-monetary recognition is extremely critical, and it needs to be set up as a system so it continues to happen when good things are there in terms of publication, presentation, patents filed, projects delivered, new revenue brought in through consulting, and things like that. So you can have your process geared for the environment you are in at the institute. I hope that makes sense, Saruji.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Dr. Srivastav training the trainer using the successfully. We did it in Aditya Birla Group in 1990s. Great, and a lot of industry do that. And non-monetary appreciation and recognition is more effective. So thank you for collaborating on those items. Okay, now I'm watching the clock. So let me continue with the rest of the presentation. So community service importance. So here comes the good news. So if all higher education institute make students to do compulsory community service, it will create 16 billion hours of project work per year, 2 hours per week, per weekend for 8 months per year. A huge resource can open up if we make it compulsory and then do the teams under the guidance of a faculty, work with the community surrounding the institute or adopt the areas, and then student work in the teams, work with the adults. They develop a lot of good life skills, critical skill, communication, leadership, decision making, time management, etc. And you can solve society's real problems in education, healthcare, agriculture, water, sanitation, senior care, etc. Over the last since 1989, been happy to raise $12 million for nonprofit groups, and free Gyandan over the last 11 years, 1.2 million people have benefited, and through Blind Foundation, 2 million adults, million children got the free eyesight checkup through free Chakshudan. Now we are going to focus on soft skills very quickly. You look at all the surveys, the executives who are hiring, they are clamoring for better soft skills compared to hard or technical skills. And particularly new hire ability to work in a team is most desirable over analytical or quantitative skills. So here is a mismatch. Industry is looking for better soft skills. Academic institutions are not having any soft skills in the curricula. So this gap needs to be addressed. And this is where discussion was held at the AICT Implementation Plan Committee, and all members agreed, yes, soft skills is a big gap. Unfortunately, there is no movement to put it across all institutes throughout India to make it compulsory in the curriculum. So I just want to share with you, knowing the gap, started a leadership excellence series with the 6 item in blue for the soft skill and 6 items in the red, the quality management discipline. We put together this series of leadership excellence series program at IIT BHU, my alma mater. We have gone through 3 rounds, and currently we are tracking 1.2 million students, faculty, and professionals throughout India. I was invited to give a talk at Gandhinagar Bizek Studio. Swamiji from Ramakrishna Mission in Vadodara at that time He has moved on to Rajkot, and Commissioner of Higher Education, Mr. Shah, who has retired. Top right picture in the white shirt. 45 minutes on effective time management through satellite, 450 colleges, 500,000 students benefited from it, and professionally recorded session on the YouTube. I just want to share with you the third round of soft skill program we conducted at IIT with the help from the host, professor in charge, training and placement, Professor Ankumar Agrawal. He has now retired and moved on. Six session leadership, decision making, time management, teamwork, project management, and career development guidance. Each sessions were recorded, and we are very honored to have the collaboration with AICT, Atal Academy, Alma World, and the state of Uttarakhand. And at this point, I want to share with you the IIT effort, which has been captured on the website, soft skills program, the focus, benefits, motivation, topics covered, recorded video, and the PDF presentation resources are there. Effective decision making, time management, teamwork, project management, and career development guidance. We had a tremendous feedback from the program, a lot of media coverage, and here was a team of 7 students and 1 faculty. It was a wonderful effort, and similar thing happened last year at Uttarakhand Technical University in Dehradun, and a lot of good effort to take the soft skill forward. I'm going to continue to move through the rest of the items so that we'll have a few minutes of interactions. Overall session at IIT 99.5%, learning new concept 98.7%, and applicability in study and work 96% satisfaction. Because of the AICTE collaboration, there are over 92,000 combined views from all 6 sessions. And I sincerely urge you to go through the link I shared with you, the TPC Event Training and Placement Center, to leverage all the resources which are sitting there on soft skills so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We are delighted to receive the DL Shah Quality Award from Quality Council of India in 2016 in New Delhi at the National Quality Conclave for the work of online transmitting the knowledge using the technology soft skills program. Key resources very quickly, as I mentioned, the NEP 2020 is a transformation journey. We can use the Leading Change book by father of the change management, John P. Carter, Professor Emeritus, Harvard Business School. Very important to have a project charter. And you will be amazed that we do a lot of projects, and projects in journals, 25 to 30% are successful, rest fail. So if you don't have project charter, look for failure. It's a blueprint to take actions, allows fact-based decision making, identify all stakeholder. It creates the vision and mission for the projects, has a complete list of objective deliverable milestones, identify and prioritize the risk, communication strategy, and once you sign off on the charter, it freezes the scope of the project. Project management, risk. Here's a wonderful book on risk management. And to end the presentation, the recommendation is NEP 2020 is a transformation journey which will require laser sharp focus on a wartime footing. We do need to empower all stakeholders for the successful journey, engage alumni and industry experts for NEP 2020, We need to harness their expertise, experience, knowledge, and wisdom to achieve a successful implementation by 2035. Relevant training to all stakeholders at various levels, use global best practices in education, bringing it from all over the world into India, and create the execution discipline, not just the talk, but the execution. Hold everyone accountable for sustainable results when the assignments are given to them, and share good practices and results with the zero political interference from the government. They should be the enablers, not dictating what to do and what not to do. We can use Nelson Mandela's quote, and with the help of NEP 2020, we can use education as the most powerful weapon to change the world, at least change India for sure. A lot of good references. Write down at least one key takeaway and put it on the chat from those who are around. And I'm going to stop sharing and we'll do some interaction. Any questions, comments, thoughts are most welcome.
Respected sir, there is a one query from the Nilima ma'am in a chat
Yeah.
box, sir. So, if I'm permitted, may I read the query?
So in the teacher training program, there is a 4th month internship program, but schools are not cooperating because their schedule is disturbed. That is why aims of the internship are not properly completed, which is a very unfortunate thing because academic knowledge transfer plus the internship, that will be a complete cycle of learning and training program. Otherwise, the teacher training is incomplete. So the way to address it is talk to higher up in the institute, your top leaders, and explain to them what can you do to make the internship compulsory and make it happen. And if there are any resources you can get in terms of people to cover when teachers are in the training program for the internship, you need to think out of the box and try to make it happen. Not a easy solution, is a tough problem because the resources needs to be covered and mindset needs to be changed. Okay, any additional questions, comments, please? We have a few more minutes left before we can close the program. Any kindly put in your key takeaway, one, at least one minimum key takeaway, please. Project management and soft skill training are essential for effective implementation of NEP in India. Thank you, Dr. Nair. Train the trainer, great, Saurabji. Yeah, we need to optimize the resources, right? We can't keep training everyone at the same time. So train the trainer to reach out to the masses. And that's what the AICT Atal Academy program was all about. Train the trainer and they will take it forward within their institute. Any additional key takeaway, please? Few more. Okay, the flow has stopped. So back to you. Okay, there is something there. So how does pursuing, there are some questions. Okay, building up for soft skill, effectiveness assessment, very useful. There was a question here. How does pursuing PhD contribute to the advancement innovation in practical based subjects like animation, or specific benefit does it offer to professionals within the field? Yeah, so doing PhD is more like in-depth research on a given area you want to pursue. So it's first, it's an individual choice. Secondly, if you really do something meaningful in your PhD rather than fill up the 200 pages or 300 pages of the thesis and publish it anyway, um, it has to be application oriented work. And when my students are working on their master's thesis, I tell them work on a project which can bring some value to your own industry where you are working, and do something practical rather than just do it for the theory sake of it. So more practical application. And doing PhD, not everybody is going to do it, but those who do it, if they do some meaningful work on the practice base, then it can add more to the knowledge in the subject area. No midterm exams. Yeah, class interaction and peer feedback is very important. Extremely, yes, very critical. Yeah, I think the issue is we all know what needs to be done. Question is how many of us are serious to spend time and get it done? And that's where rubber meets the road. Let's not just keep talking about it. It's the taking it forward, take few ideas from today's presentation, start implementing it. You may or may not succeed with all of it, but whatever works, make it permanent. Whatever is not working, improvise and make it work. Okay, leadership journey of teachers to become a guru. That's great. We all should aspire for it. Collaborative effort from teacher and student is the main requirement of effective implementation of NEP. And that can only happen when we engage them in the journey. As I mentioned in the comment, that most of the places NEP is a best kept secret. Few people at the highest level, Dean R&D, will get the assignment. He or she, generally he and most of the institute, will go on the sideline, do some work, report to higher up, and nothing else. That's how we don't do NEP 2020. How can you improve soft skill as a self-paced student? So one is make use of the resource I shared, and secondly, keep practicing. Communication is the foundational soft skill, which requires to do practice for presentation, practice for creating PowerPoint slides, oral, written, keep communicating and do a lot of practice. More practice you do, you are going to be good at it. And leadership, sign up to become the volunteer in the teams, take on additional assignments, deliver it in a more collaborative way, working with the team members, learning from each other, using people's strength to make the projects and a success basis, etc. So all these things require understanding what the issues are and then working on it in the team setting to make it happen. Okay, with that, I think there is nothing in the chat box extra. Back to you, Dr. Abhishek, so you can wrap it up.
Manmohan sir, I think. Your
Yeah,
mic is mute, Manmohan sir.
Yeah, I was typing actually one of the key takeaway from this
yes,
session. So, which I believe one of the major aspect is, as I have seen in the presentation as well, the fact is also very important to teach them to show the reality what is happening on the ground area.
yes, good point. Thank you, Vasishji.
Yeah, and with this, this is really, sir, inspiring presentation and very beautiful presentation. And I hope everybody enrich and this wisdom really, help them to grow in their fields. And With that note, I thank you, Professor Vora, for this guidance. And now I'm requesting the former head of the department to share few words, Mr. Kurma sir, on this auspicious day.
Dear Professor Vora sir, on behalf of all the participants, I extended heartfelt gratitude to you for your generously sharing your time and wisdom and insights with us today. Your presence has enriched our gathering. Mute.
Yeah, sorry, actually, there was a small network interruption. Sorry. So, with respect to the instructions of NID-AP Honorable Director Sir, Rajiv Jasal Sir, as just he conveyed, he is stuck in a meeting and there is a network and internet issue, so he is not able to join. That's why in between my call is also on disconnect mode. So, on behalf of our appreciating director Rajiv Jasal Sir, again I would like to heartily thanks to the Manu Vora Sir for sharing his valuable experience to all of us. And definitely we are feeling more energetic. And one more thing, now it's a time to take action and move towards to building our nation in a next one of the most powerful country across the globe. Hashtag our honorable prime minister vision Vikasit Bharat 2047 itself over there. Now I'm coming back to the vote of thanks. So Professor Manu Vora sir, guest faculty members, industry members, scholars, and all the participants. It is with profound gratitude and that I stand here to today to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to Professor Manu Vora sir on behalf of Honorable Director NID-AP to sharing his invaluable insight and knowledge with us. Despite the geographical distances, Professor Vora sir joined from the Chicago, USA to India in an online mode, demonstrating the power of technology and bridging the world and the fostering global education dialogues. As earlier also had stated the same thing, the theme of our event, effective implementation of the National Education Policy NEP 2022-20 is a testament and the testament of our collective aspiration for the transformating challenge as well as changes also. I mentioned challenge and changes because we are facing challenge, but it's a need to do the changes as per the guidance from the Professor Vora sir in the educational landscape of India. Professor Vora sir enlightening session not only shed light on the dynamic phases of the NEP 2020 but also paved the way for deeper understanding and the potential revolutionizes our approach to the education. Sir, your presentation has a beacon of the knowledge, inspiring all of us to look the NEP 2020 with a new perspective. Because earlier, as you stated, we have going through the traditional book knowledge and some of the YouTube as well as the Google information. But today we having the clear idea how the things can be go ahead. So the insight you have a share about the policy that is emphasizes on the critical thinking, creativity as well as the holistic learning. This resonate with our goals, also the nurturing a future generation that not only academically proficient but also ethically grounded and globally competent. Now we immensely thankful for your time and effort dedicated to preparing and delivering such impactful sessions, sir. Your willingness to engage with our audience, answer their queries, and share your experience has significantly enriched our understanding and appreciation of NEP 2020 objective. Finally, on behalf of NID Andhra Pradesh, I express our gratitude to you, Professor Vora sir, for your invaluable contribution to this event. Your expertise, profession, and the excellence in this area has left a lasting impression for all of us. And very soon, if we are getting the more opportunity, we willing to learn from you in a further online or maybe the offline session. That would be really very beneficial for us. As we conclude this event, we are reminded over the power of collaborative effort. I'm mentioning the collaborative effort because end of the day, with Kasturi Rangan sir committee itself over there, it had been started 5 years back on dream project and now it's onto the ground and across the India more than 200 university and institutions already implemented and implementing the NEP and so on. So the power of collaborative effort, importance of our visionary leaders like Professor Manu Vora sir in guiding us towards realizing the full potential of policies like NEP 2020. Thank you once again, sir, Professor Vora sir, for your remarkable contribution to making our country as a next generation country in the education field and for inspiring us to strive for excellence in education. Thank you everyone for patiently hearing us, and thank you again Professor Manu Vora sir, also our esteemed faculty of NID-AP and also the administration of NID-AP to helping us and guiding to make this event successful. Thanks once again to everyone. Have a good day, sir. Sorry, have
Thank
a good
you.
night, sir, because there is a time
Thank
changes.
you. Thank you. Sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Thank you,
for the
sir.
opportunity and take it forward. Action will be important than the talk.
Exactly, sir. We will take it note, sir, and we will implement from today onwards only.
Thank you. And do share your success.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And thank you, sir. Namaste, sir. Pranam, sir.
Namaskar. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
For अच्छा session था.
Bye.